A warm welcome to everyone who has just joined us. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, a place where the right message finds you. So, my dear ones, in a moment, we are going to spin the Wheel of Wisdom and see which book has the universe chosen for us today. And then we will do some intuitive readings for you all. But before that, let me go through the comments that are here and then we will continue. Okay, so let me see. Summer Star says QHHD. Have you heard of that, Anisha? We can chat later after recording. No, I haven't. I don't know what that is. But yeah, feel free to share about it here or in the group or in the messages to me, wherever you feel comfortable. But yeah, if it is some other platform, then yeah, I think you should not share it here because inside timer do not allow that. Bob says, hello Anisha, sorry I'm late. Bob here. Hi Bob, welcome. Happy to have you here. Bob says, I felt as if I was somewhere else. Gosh, that was mind blowing and intense. I'm really happy to hear that you had like a very unique experience. I'm happy to hear that. And yeah, and I have recorded this, so if you feel like going through the practice again, you can do so. Yeah, so though I think the practice would be released in a week or so because that is how long it takes inside timer to approve or reject the track. So yeah, and now let me show you guys our wheel of wisdom. Okay. So, my dear ones, this is our wheel of wisdom. And as you can see, this wheel contains the name of 51 books, the best ones that I've read over the past 10 years of my life. And now, what we're going to do is, I invite you guys to take a moment and ask yourself, what do I need today? Like, what is the thing that I need guidance on today? It can be a specific problem or a specific desire that you have. And if nothing specific comes up for you, you can simply hold this beautiful wish in your heart that may everyone who is listening to this receives the message that they need to hear right now. The message that is for their highest good. So take a moment to do either of those things until I read the rest of the comments here. Okay, so Summer Star has elaborated QHHD, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Oh, interesting. Okay, I will read upon that, what that is. Um, yeah, it kind of feels like, I feel like I have done a meditation related, not like I haven't guided it, I have listened to a meditation on something like that. But yeah, I will check it out later on. Thank you so much, Star, for sharing that technique with us. um, Chris says, a nice break in having too many thoughts and ideas going round and round and too fast. Glad to have this to practice more often. Thank you, Chris, for sharing that experience of yours. I'm glad that you had a nice break because, yeah, sometimes it can be too much to live in our heads. It is too crowded sometimes. So, yeah, and you will have this practice to, go through that again. So yeah, I'm happy you had a nice experience. David says that was very relaxing and refreshing. Thank you. I was able to reset some thoughts that were troubling me today. Oh, that makes me so happy, David, that it was helpful, right now in this moment for you. And yeah, and now that you have learned this practice, you can come back to it again. You have this tool in your toolkit now, and you can use it anytime you need it. So I'm happy that yeah, you it helped today. Summer Star says, "Okay, thanks. It was soothing to do in this. It was soothing to do this in this meditation. Uh, thank you so much. I'm glad that you felt soothed um, and I hope that this practice is going to help you, as you mentioned that your mind stays very active. So yeah, we all need a break, and our minds too need a break and deserve a break, right? Emily says heads are crowded. Yes, 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 they are. Bob says how to cope with the anniversary of our 40th wedding anniversary. Um, I don't know. I would need like, some more context. I cannot give any general advice. Like it is based on like I need to know more about it in order to say something about it. So yeah, I'm choosing to stay, silent on that. Yeah. Okay, so guys, up until now, Um, I hope that you guys have thought of something that you need guidance on. And I hope that some guidance come up for you, Bob, regarding what you have shared here. And yeah, let us spin the wheel. The whole whatever it is you need guidance on in your mind. And let's see what the universe sends our way. Okay. So the book that came for all of us is Mindfulness on the Go. Discover how to be mindful wherever you are by Anna Black. So let's see what this beautiful book wants to offer us. Mhm. And by the way, guys, if you don't know, I think I recently released a mindful pause track. So 5 minute mindful pause. So if you are into that, you can check that out. I'm sharing it because that is the book that came up. So yeah. So this is like the cover page of the book. And I really like the cycle here because these days we have like cars, bikes, scooty, and all of these heavy machinery, and it takes us fast anywhere, or rather slow because of having too many of them. And cycle just, kind of reminds me to take it slow and observe your environment and be with, be in it fully, as well as taking care of our body at the same time. So yeah, okay, give me a second. I'm choosing some numbers so that we can play a game together and I can do some intuitive readings for you guys. Okay. So my dear ones, I invite you guys to pick a number between 27 to 158. And for the ones who are new, there is no need to rush. Take your time, see which number pops up for you. Share that in the comments, and I will go through all your numbers and pick one that my intuition feels called to. Okay? So, yeah, go ahead, share. Thank you, Emily, for sharing a number. Thank you, Krista. Thank you, David. Thank you, Chris. Okay, you couldn't decide between the two. I'm going to consider both. Thank you, Lana. Thank you, Summer Star. Okay, anyone else who would like to share a number and receive a reading? Mm, okay, then let's go with the ones that are here. Okay, so the number that I am feeling most called to is 68, and the number has been chosen by Summer Star. Okay, thank you, dear. So let's see what wants to come through page number 68 for Summer Star and for all of us. Bob says, sorry, I expected you to remember my wife died a year ago. Yeah, Bob, I remembered that, but I need some more context in terms of like, okay, so so, what I wanted you to share was like, what is the most troubling part? What are you struggling with really? Like, is it the thoughts that you're having right now? Is it like, the sensation in your body that you're struggling with? Is it people, saying something, so like I needed some more details, some more context in regarding, all of these different things that would help me guide you if I have some tool, if I have something to say in that direction. Okay, and until you, share that if you feel called to share it here, that's why, I didn't ask you to share much because this is like a group, so I'm not sure how much you feel comfortable sharing as well. Okay, so until if you are sharing, until you do that, let me, um read what wants to come through page number 68. Okay, so the practice that came up from this is oh, okay. Buff says thoughts of going on. Why bother? I understand, thank you. Okay, I see that you feel this deep pain, this loss that you have lost such an integral, part of you, such an important person in your life, and now you're questioning your existence. You don't know you know, what is that one thing, or what are those things that can help you go on. And right now, there's this there's this book uh that I think that goes like 100 reasons for going on or something like that. And that is coming to my mind. I'm not sure if that is going to help or not, but that is something that is coming up for me. And I hope that if you go through that book, you find something that would help you find meaning right now after that loss. Okay, that's relieving that to know that you are seeing a therapist, because that was the second thing that I was going to, share, because yeah, it feels like you could, use some more additional help in that regard. Someone that can help you find some meaning, find some uh, sense of, I'm not finding the right word, but yeah, something that would help you go on. And you can make space for that loss, but also making space for some other things in your life that might still, make you smile at times, that might still matter to you. It can be, you know, very little things, like, for example, a pet, or like, being in nature, helping other people, whatever that is for you. So, finding meaning, something that can help you keep on going on. And give me a second to search for the book. If we can, if I don't remember the exact name. Mm, it was something like, 100 or something reasons to do this, to stay alive, to go on, or something like that. Maybe you can, you can search for it and you will find something in relation to that. Because that is the thing that is coming up for me right now. Caitlin says, Bob, if you are a stateside 988, you can call or text. They have someone there to talk with. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Caitlin, for sharing the number. And I hope that you feel like supported right now. And thank you for sharing that here in this space. And if you guys feel called, you can, like, share some love to Bob. You can send some hearts, a hug, whatever you feel called to share with Bob, so that you don't feel so alone right now in this moment. I'm sending you a big heart as well, Bob. Know that there is someone in your life that feels like you matter, that you know wants you to exist for so long. Okay, so there is someone, something that is there, that is, that wants you to keep going. Bob says thank you, I will, and I will look for the book. Thank you. Okay, thank you, David, for sending love, and for anyone who sent love to Bob. Okay, so yeah, so the reading that came up was for Summer Star, and the page number was 68. So the reading is for physical discomfort. So if you are feeling, this discomfort within you, any form of physical discomfort within your body, then the first step is to always acknowledge what is present. So like it can be a itch on the nose. It can be, some like pointed feeling, for example, in your head or somewhere in your body, a heaviness, a tightness, a constriction in your throat. So just take a moment to acknowledge what is present right now for you physically in your physical body. And now, once you notice and acknowledge that physical discomfort within your body, there are three options as to how you can deal with this physical discomfort. So, the first one is we can breathe into the sensation. So, like you can imagine, you can keep that part of you where you feel that physical discomfort in your mind, for example, your throat or your chest, or your head, whatever, wherever it is, and keeping that in your mind, keeping that in your awareness, you can imagine breathing into that part and breathing out of that part. So, breathing into that part and out of that part. That might help you, lower the intensity of the sensation itself, or that is not the goal, but to, maybe create space so that you can keep that part in your awareness without getting overwhelmed by the sensation. So that is one thing. That is the first option that you have once you notice that physical discomfort. The second option is we can move a little closer to the sensation by getting to know it better. So bring an attitude of curiosity by asking questions such as where exactly I am feeling it. So we figured out where in our body are we feeling it. Then how would I describe it? Like, is it hard or soft? Is it constant? Like the sensation, is it constant or is it like shifting or changing its form in some manner? So this, these questions are with the spirit of exploration rather than analysis. So we are not judging it. We are not, try to understand everything. We are just being a curious child who is just watching something happen, like who is watching a cloud in the sky and it's just seeing the cloud, shift its shape. It sees where the cloud is in the sky and all of those different things. So, like that, we are observing that sensation with this quality of curiosity. So, we are curious about what we are experiencing in this moment, and then the next one, and then the next one. So, in this way, we can stay with that physical discomfort, stay with that physical feeling without being overwhelmed. And we, when we do that, we understand it better. We sometimes gain multiple insights about, for example, the impermanence of these sensations, the ones that we feel so, how do I say it? Like, we feel like they are never going to change, they are constant. So when we say that I'm having a headache since the morning, we think of it just like pain, but when we see it even for like 3 or 4 minutes, we see it changing. We see that it is not solid, it is moving, it is changing its shapes. Sometimes it is here intense, sometimes the location of it changes. So there are always change, there are most of the time there are changes shifting in the sensation. And when it shifts, we feel like, okay, there is more space and I can hold this. I can, be with it, sit with it, observe it without letting it consume me. So that is, another way. And the moment you start to get overwhelmed, you can come back to the breath. You can breathe into the sensation and out of it. So this is what came up from page number 68, which Samastar shows for us how to kind of deal with physical discomfort. Um, Chris says, Bob, I know that the identity you developed and felt during your relationship can be seen as memories to be grateful for. I have been with my husband for 41 years also, and know what a huge transition it is to find ourselves again when we no longer have this. Hang in there, sending you positive thoughts and support. That is beautiful, Chris. Thank you for sharing, all these kind words, validating what, Bob is feeling and, giving, sharing a direction to move towards to finding oneself and to process, what has happened by focusing on what, the memories he is grateful for, the memories that he still carry. within his mind despite, that person not being present. And those memories, are something that he can beautifully carry, as well as making space for something new, for a new version of himself as well. So I hope that, you know, I'm sure that Bob would have found some comfort in your words. And I hope that, your therapist provides you the support that you need, Bob. I'm glad that you took that step and you reached out. And yeah, and maybe you can look into existential therapy. That particular therapy approach usually is pretty helpful when you're having these kind of thoughts like, what's the point, what to how to keep going on, and all of those different kind of questions that comes up. So that therapeutic approach might be able to help you with these kind of thoughts. Okay, so let me see. um so let us do our second reading for today. And if you guys have just joined, I invite you guys to take a moment and bring to your mind whatever it is that you need guidance on as we spin the wheel. Okay. So the book that came up is Fail, Fail Again, Fail Better. Wise Advice for Leaping into the Unknown by Pema Chödrön. That is a book. Fail, Fail Again, Fail Better. Okay. Bob says, yes, thank you. What is the book called again you have used today? So, the name of the book was Mindfulness on the Go by Anna Black. And yeah, and if you want like the correct spellings and everything, then I do share the name of the books and readings in my group. So, yeah, if you're a part of it, you can, check the exact name there. Okay. So, yeah, that is the name of the group. Abe says, hello, Anisha and beautiful beings. Hi, Abe, welcome. So nice to have you back here again. And you're just in time for our second reading, and it is from the book Fail, Fail Again, Fail Better. So, give me a second to open this book. And if you relate to this, if you feel like you have been you failed at something, you have been failing lately, or that you're a failure, then I think this book is going to give you some wise advice, as the subtitle goes. And I also think, yeah, I also released a track, a 5-minute video, or saying that titled Three Reasons Why You're Not a Failure. So if you relate to this particular thought, is this is the thought that you're having right now, and I hope that this is, that is going to help you. So this is our book. Um, Bob says the chaplain at the hospice gave me the following book, 12 Birds to Save Your Life by Charlie Corbett. It's beautiful. Thank you, Bob, for sharing this book with all of us. Let me, take a photo. I will check it out later on. And I hope that, whoever needed this, like, this is going to be helpful for anyone who needed this. So thank you for sharing. Um, I'm choosing some numbers from this book so we can play a game again. Mhm. So, my dear ones, I invite you guys to pick a number between 24 to 119. Here you go. So, again, no need to rush. See which number comes up, share it in the comments. I will go through all your numbers and pick one that I'm feeling intuitively called to. Caitlin says, Anisha, I will message you separately. The reading on body awareness was very potent. I feel like a bow that is pulled completely, taut and ready to release the arrow at the bull's eye. Wow, what a wonderful imagery. And I'm glad that you resonated with the practice, Caitlin. And I'm looking forward to that message of yours. Okay. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Summer Star. Bob, thank you. Okay, Bob says 65 is how old Mandy would have been next week. Okay, Bob, then. Okay, let's do a reading from that page, especially for Mandy. And also going to do a reading for one more page. So let me choose that as well. Thank you, John, for sharing a number. Okay, anyone else who wants to share a number? Because we are going to do two readings from this book, one from 65 for Mandy and or from Mandy, we never know, and one more reading from one more page number. So yeah, I'm just waiting for a moment in case anyone else also wants to share a number. Otherwise, I will choose from amongst these. Susan says, I understand, Bob. I'm in a similar situation. I struggle with sleep and with going on and finding purpose. Back to you, Susan. I'm sorry that both of you guys are going through this hard time, that you have to bear, you know, such a huge loss in your life. And I hope that both of you do find something to help you keep going on and not just surviving, but something that adds so much meaning to your life. Yeah, thank you for sharing, both of you. And there is this prompt that is coming to my mind, which is, I guess, for both of you, that or anyone else also. Um, that maybe try to remember the time you know, um, before you met these important people in your life, and you know, look back and maybe think like what do you used to do before then that was in a way fulfilling for you, that was meaningful for you, that made you feel like you. And maybe you will find something that you can bring back to your life, and that is going to be supportive for you right now as you are walking on this path for now, maybe feeling alone. So I hope that something comes up from that prompt for you guys. Thank you, Eve, for sharing a number. 66 after 65. Okay. Okay, so let me open page 65 and let's see what wants to come through, and then we will decide are we going to do another reading or not. Oh, okay. So what came up, so this is like a story that continues from one page to the next, and this is the story. I don't know if you guys have heard or not. It is the story Maybe Yes, Maybe No. So the name of the story sometimes is this, or sometimes is The Man and the Horse. So yes, I'm just thinking like should I read the whole story again because I think I've read it two times before. So okay, so let me give you a gist of it instead for those who don't know the story. So the story that came up from page number 65 or 66 is that um so there is like a couple, okay, that lives in a village and different so once a good thing happens for them, once a very bad thing happens for them, for example their horse run away, okay, and all the people that they know says, okay, this is very bad, this is wrong, this is going to be a huge loss for you, this is going to be this is going to be that, how bad this is. And the old man replies, maybe yes, maybe no. And then that thing turns into a beautiful thing. Like, for example, the horse that ran away actually bring back another horse with it. And then the villagers are like, wow, you got another horse out of nowhere. This is going to be very good for your business, and so on and so forth. And the old man says, maybe yes, maybe no. Because what happens next is that the new horse that the old horse brought actually kicks their son, and he gets injured. And then the villagers again come and they say, okay, this is so bad, this shouldn't have happened, how did this happen, this is he is so young to be injured, he is so young to get crippled like this. So I think, yeah, he loses one of his legs or something. um and the old man replies, maybe yes, maybe no. Maybe it is a good thing, maybe it is not. Sorry, maybe it is a bad thing, maybe it is not. Then a war strikes in the state, and the king orders that every young man needs to go there, and there's a high probability that they would die. So all the villagers' sons, go away, but their son didn't because he had an injured leg, or maybe he got crippled or something like that. And the villagers comes and say, okay, this is so wonderful for you. Your son is here close to you. There's nothing going to happen to him. We are very worried about ours. This is such a good thing. And the old man says, maybe it is, maybe it is not. Maybe yes, maybe no. So this is a beautiful, wonderful story that, sometimes the things that we think are very bad for us, this is so, this is a disaster that this is happening, this is that, you know, we add judgment of good or bad, like whether this is good for me, whether this is bad for me. But sometimes we do it from our limited, knowledge, from our limited conscious brain, and we don't know all the other, threads that are attached and how it may lead, whether it is going to be a good thing for you or not. So no matter how bad you think whatever is happening is for you, maybe maybe the things are going to turn around. The very thing that you thought was bad for you might turn out to be a blessing in disguise, or maybe it is going to reveal a new shade of yours, or maybe it is going to bring something beautiful to you. We never know. So, being open, being curious, because if we reflect at the lowest moments of our lives, um, some of you might realize that they did, you know, um, lead to something good. Like they made you discover some of your strength, they made you believe in yourself, they changed the path, that you were on, and now this is a path that is more aligned to you. So, so instead of judging a thing as good or bad, being more open, being more curious, and see what is it going to lead to. So, yeah, that was the story that came from page number 65 and 66. Okay, so I hope that this provided comfort to anyone who needed it. Samastar says, death cafes may find comfort for you, Bob. Oh, I didn't know about them. Like, what are they? I would search for them. Like, what are death cafes? But yeah, thank you for sharing something helpful, here with Bob and anyone and, going through something similar. Uh, Eve says, yes, great story. I'm glad that you liked it, Eve. Bob says, thank you. I'm writing poetry on another platform. Susan sending you positive thoughts and warmth. Take each half day at a time. Love that new saying, Bob. And thank you for being here, for sharing, what you are going through so openly with everyone. And it gave permission for others to speak up as well. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. Khan says, good afternoon from Lahore. Hello, Khan. Welcome. Samastar says a death cafe is scheduled non-profit group gatherings, often with tea and cake, where people, usually strangers, meet to discuss death, dying, and life in an open, respectful, and safe space. I love that. That is such a beautiful concept. Yeah, because we have such, hard time thinking about death, whether of someone we know or our own. So that is a beautiful concept. Thank you, Samastar, for sharing that with me, with all of us. Okay, guys. So, yeah, maybe let's do one more reading. So, again, for those who just joined us, this is going to be our last reading for today. So, I invite you guys to pick a number between 24 to 119. And I'm going to consider the numbers that were already shared before by Priscilla, Susan, Samastar, John, and anyone else who wants to share a number, who wants to add a number to that list, you guys can do so because I randomly pick a number. So, yeah, between 24 to 119. Thank you, Linda. Samastar says, I learned this from Johnny and Rebecca here on Inside Timer. Oh, that's wonderful. And now you are teaching all of us. Love how the information is being transferred. Bob says, that sounds really good about the cafe. And thank you, Bob, for sharing a number. Okay. So, anyone else? Thank you, Samastar, for sharing a number. Okay, seems like everyone who wanted to share a number has done so. So, let me see which number am I feeling most called to. Okay, so the number that I'm feeling most called to is 108, and the number has been chosen by Susan for all of us. Thank you, Susan. Okay, let's see what it wants to come through page 108. Okay. So give me a second to find some heading if there is. Uh, okay, maybe there is not. So the reading is thank you, Khan, for sharing a number. But now we have chosen a number and we're going with that for now. Maybe next time. So the so His Holiness the Dalai Lama was asked, did he have anything he regretted? And he said yes. He had given advice to an old man that he shouldn't do certain practices because they were suited for young people and not old people. The following week, the old man took his own life so that he could come back in a young body and do the practices. And the Dalai Lama felt directly responsible for the old man's death. When asked about how he got rid of that feeling, they say he got very quiet and he kind of went inside and closed his eyes, contacting that feeling. The Dalai Lama said, I didn't get rid of it. The regret is still there. He said, you don't try to get rid of these feelings. You come to know them and you can hold them in your heart as part of your being, a human being. Countless beings share the feeling of, I wish I hadn't done that, and I have great regret that I did that. Prisons are filled with people who have that kind of deep regret for what they have done, and so is the world filled with people. The Dalai Lama could hold the regret like it was still there. He could contact the feeling of the regret, the failure, and it connected him with all humanity. It is something that all human beings feel. Instead of failure and regret being the seed of self loathing, it can become the seed of compassion and empathy. The Dalai Lama also said, I use it to spur me on to be a better person in the future, and it spurs me on more than ever to want to devote my life to helping sentient beings rather than hurting them. I realize that it is these two things that staying with regret offers. It can become the seed of compassion and empathy so that you can stand in the shoes of the other people because you're feeling exactly what they feel, and it spurs you on to help people in the future rather than hurting them, as the Dalai Lama said, because otherwise the only alternative to have it drag you down and down sorry the only alternative is to have it drag you down and down and down. Allow yourself to get dragged down by failure builds up this huge sense of me as a monolithic solid instead of a fluid, dynamic, changing process. It becomes chiseled in stone that I am bad, I am a failure. And then you sort of get addicted to the feeling of wallowing in self pity, wallowing in guilt and shame. And what does that help? And who does that help? Nobody. It doesn't help you. It's poisonous for everybody around you. So it's a futile strategy to let failure drag you down, which we all employ rather easily. One approach is to devote your life to helping people in the areas in which you had harmed. So, two things that help us deal with regret or most of the difficult emotions. The first one is to realize the common humanity, meaning that what you are going through, there is someone else who might be going through that very same thing, maybe a different flavor of it, but the very same thing right now. Like how, Bob shared about what he's going through right now, and then Susan came up and she shared about, something similar, that I'm going through something similar. And when you say that, you know, it is not just me, in the sense that this is a part of being human. It is not just happening specifically to me. It helps us, broaden. It helps us feel less of the separate self and more as a, part of this big humanity, of this being human. And then from this point on, we can decide what to do next, what is going to be helpful for us, for everyone, involved. And in this case, the author shared that, um, instead of letting that regret consume you, instead of letting it bring you down, break you, we can use that very thing that you did, that you regret, to become a spark to do even more good in that particular area, to those particular people, so that, this thing that was bad, as we learned in the previous story, this thing that we regret so much can, become transformed into something even more beautiful. It can become the source of that motivation to do something beautiful, to add something nice into the world, to do more good. And this is, you know and it can be in terms of like going back to that person and doing, like, rectifying that mistake if you can. And if you cannot, if that is not possible, if that is not in your control right now, then, doing something in that area for someone else. And that is a beautiful transformation, that can happen from something that we thought as something bad, turning into something beautiful, something good. So yeah, these are the two ways, two different, like, in fact dependent, two things that you can do when you're dealing with the regret, and with any other emotion as well. This also reminds me of something called self-compassion, especially what Christine Neff talks about. She is like a pioneer in self-compassion research, if you don't know, and also a teacher on Insight Timer. So she shares like three components to self-compassion, and the components are mindfulness, common humanity, and kindness. And common humanity is a very big part of it, because it, helps you move away from the self pity, and it helps you recognize the commonness, the humanness of your experience. That, for example, you are not the only one who feel anxious, and it is not in a demeaning way, it is more in a freeing way, that, you know that there are others, that it isn't that there is something wrong with me, that I am broken in some way, but this is a common thing that most of the humans experience. And only when we have known suffering, only when we have suffered in that way, we can be empathetic, we can understand when the other person is suffering. That level of understanding comes from experience, not just intellectual. So it can make you more compassionate, it can transform you as a person as well, since we were talking about transformation. So yeah, that was our final reading for today. Let me know if it resonated with you at all. Um, I think we chose Susan's number. Yeah, Susan. And anything else also, if you guys feel called to share, you can do that in the comments related to this reading. And this was our last reading for today. And I hope that you guys found something of value from the space today, from this live, from maybe the practice that we did at the start. And yeah, and if you did, then I would invite you guys to come back to the next live, you know. Mhm. Okay, let's see. Kathleen says, Hi Anisha, I heard somewhere about notice, normalize, nurture. Does that go along the same lines as Kristen Neff? Yeah, yeah, it does. Yeah, so the notice part is mindfulness. You become aware that there is suffering present right now. You normalize it. You say that, okay, it is natural to feel this way in the situation, like it is normal, it is a part of being human. That is the common humanity part. And the third, nurture, which is, kindness, nurturing yourself, or being kind to someone else, being nurturing towards someone else. I love the three ends. I have never heard of this version, but it perfectly fits with the three elements of self compassion. Bob says that's useful. Okay, yeah, before that, but thank you, Kathleen, for sharing that. Bob says that's useful. The grief encourages you to stop at home or not share how you are feeling. And yeah, sorry, Bob. Bob says that's useful. The grief encourages you to stop at home or not share how you're feeling and feel that there is only you going through this. Exactly, there are so many other people and we can do so much. There have been so many people when something bad happened to them and then they turned it into a beautiful cause. They decided that I have gone through this difficult thing and I don't ever want anyone to go through this again. And they start like, a non-profit thing. They, go towards prevention, or they support the ones, they join groups, and they support other people who are going through the same thing. And, that is a very important component or something because of which group therapy usually is very helpful, or like other groups like the AA and other kind of groups are really helpful because we see others like us and we get to experience it firsthand that okay, this is not only me, there are so many others like me. And we also learn from them, okay, this worked for them, maybe this might work for me. Or okay, they had a setback and then they came back again to the path. And it feels encouraging that okay, maybe I can do that as well. So this feeling of common humanity have a lot of different benefits as well. Bob says, what's your group called? Yeah, so Bob, the name of the group is World of Wisdom. And you can either search for it in the group section on Insight Timer, or you can find it yeah, in my profile. Okay, so when you go to my profile, usually the home section opens. Okay, my phone hanged. Just a second. Yeah. So usually you see the home section that opens. So when you scroll down, And this is the video I was talking about, 3 reasons why you're not a failure. Okay. Yeah, so when you scroll down and down at the bottom, just below the playlists, you will see this group called World of Wisdom here. And 132 beautiful beings are a part of it. And I would love to have you there as well. So yeah, so after this live, like within 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to share the summary of this live, like the name of the books and the exact readings and the technique that we practiced today. Okay, everything in one place. Eve says, "That's so good. I appreciate that reading. It did resonate. I'm glad that it did resonated with you, Eve. Thank you for sharing it with me." David says, "Empathy is a powerful thing, and so is acceptance and self forgiveness." Once we understand this, we can better understand each other and ourselves. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, the other way around, you know. Thank you for bringing that to light, David. You're not just that when we have suffered, we can understand other people, but when we understand others, it also helps us understand ourselves. A kind of a full circle. That is so beautiful. Thank you, David, for sharing it. Chris says, "Thank you, everyone. The sharing and the trust shown today has lifted my spirits and shown that there is still good people out there. I think we only hear and see so much of the negativity that we forget this. At least I do at times. So grateful for readings and sharing from all. Thank you so very, very much." And yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. The space is that for me as well, to remember that there are so many beautiful, lovely, sensitive, caring, kind souls around. And sometimes we forget that because of the news, the people that we see around. But I'm glad that the space exists, that we all can be here, and that we can remind each other that when we stop believing in humanity or that there is goodness around. So, yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you, Chris, for being one of them. Bob says thank you. You're welcome, Bob. Okay, guys. So, and before I end, I also wanted to say sorry to you, Bob, because yeah, you know, I didn't initially when you asked me how to cope with that, and I, you know, like didn't clearly express myself, and you might have felt that I didn't remember such an important part of your life, and you know, that might not have felt nice. So I am very sorry that I didn't express myself clearly, and I apologize for making you feel not good for a moment, as you know, for those moments. Eve says, "In gratitude for you, Anisha, and our community." Yeah, I'm very grateful to have you and everyone in this community. You guys are so very beautiful. Thank you for being a part of the space. Okay, so I guess, hmm, yeah, that's all that I wanted to share. And before I leave, I also wanted to share with you guys, um, yeah, some of the tracks that I have recently released, that are helpful in terms of, you know, making your body feel more safe when you're feeling dysregulated. So I hope that, you know, they help you in those moments. And I would recommend you guys to go through them before so that when you need them, you remember them. And if you don't know, if you're new, I am releasing like a total of 100 most effective tools for regulating yourself for different states. And I have, you know, I already have a playlist called Nervous System Regulation. So if need that, you can check that out. And for now, I'm just sharing the ones that just got released this week. So you can save them if you want to. If not, you can ignore them. Okay, let me go through the comments. Kathleen says, sending you love, Bob. That is so sweet of you, Kathleen. Thank you, David, for this kind, beautiful contribution of yours. I appreciate it and know that it is going to help me create, you know, whatever I can offer. It is going to help me create all of that content for anyone who need it. And you are going to be a part of what made that possible. So thank you. Bob says, please do not worry. I am more than grateful for for your community. Thank you, Bob. That is relieving. And yeah, I just didn't felt nice to make you feel that way, you know. So yeah, I wanted to apologize. Um, okay. So yeah, I guess that's it for this live. And if you guys missed it, if you guys want to, listen to the readings again, I am going, like I record these so you guys can go and watch the recording. Um, and you can find the recording by going to my profile and by going to the about section there. Let me show you. Yeah. So you can go to the about section in my profile. You can read a little bit about me and you can find more of my offerings here if you want to know more. So, yeah, that's it for today's live. Thank you for being here. I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. May you all be safe. May you all be healthy. May you all feel strong. May you all feel loved. Hi, Sandhya. Thank you for joining us. Um, we are ending the live right now, but I'm so happy to have you here. And guys, if you don't know, Sandhya is another wonderful teacher, and so is Caitlin. So if you don't know both of these guys, you can, check them out. They have some wonderful work. Caitlin has a lot of tracks on affirmations, and she teaches and does crochet in her lives. And Sandhya, she has a lot of tracks around, for people who have ADHD and, also like a lot of, regulation tracks and stuff. And, I think EFT tapping. Yeah. So if you're interested in any of that, you guys can check them out. David says namaste. Thank you, Anisha. Namaste, David. Sandhya says just got half from shopping. Just got back from shopping. Blessings. I'm glad that you dropped by. Eve says so long for now. Bye guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is for you. And I hope to see you guys soon. Day after tomorrow, to be precise. Bye. Take care.